What is going on, PPW fans? Tom Mitchell here, and I'm here with Big Sean Kramars. Sean, I am so excited to do this. We've been talking about this for a while, and now it's finally time to go live here on PPW's Facebook page, man.
Absolutely.
How are you feeling, first of all?
I'm feeling fantastic, man. Hello, PPW Nation. Thank you for having me tonight. It is awesome. We are here to do a preview show for this Saturday night at the Signature Training Academy in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania. Dirty Dancing, man. It's going to be an awesome night, isn't it?
Oh, it'd be awesome indeed. We're going Dirty Dancing with Fandango, Tyler Breeze, Madison Rain, Mercedes Martinez. I can keep going forever with this list, man. This is a who's who of former WWE, AEW stars, Matt Sydal, and the best independent wrestling in the Northeast, man. This is going to be huge. I'm so excited for this show.
Yeah, man, as am I. I mean, last month at our 8th anniversary, my goodness, the Signature Training Academy was freaking packed to the gills. You couldn't breathe. There was no room to walk. It was the best atmosphere I've been in quite some time in independent wrestling. And I'll tell you what, management at PPW, our biggest goal is to bring you that sort of show every single month from here on out. And you're going to get that tomorrow night without exception.
Dude, you're so right. I remember getting chills. Literally chills just watching Bro Keller and Joey Martinez go at it, man. It was the most electric atmosphere I've personally ever felt in independent wrestling. It's something you just gotta see in person, dude. Speaking of which, you can purchase those tickets now for this Saturday night at ppwwrestling.com/shop. I heard that they are going fast. The second row is nearly sold out. The first row already is sold out. And then we have general admission seats and bleacher seating as well.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this place is going to be packed at the gills. There should be tickets at the door, but your best bet, your absolute best bet, is to get online right now, right when we go off the air after you hear this awesome card. We're going to run through the whole thing for you folks. But the best thing to do, as Tom said, is get over to ppwwrestling.com right away. Do not hesitate, because these tickets, they're going fast and they're going to be gone.
Sean, speaking of the card and the PPW Heavyweight Champion, let's start with the PPW Heavyweight Championship match. We have the new PPW Heavy Champion, All Energy, Bro Keller, going one-on-one with the Last Entertainer Encore. Now, this is a rematch from August in the PPW semifinals of the Heavyweight Championship tournament. A match and an entire tournament that was won by Bro. But Encore, he had a huge win to Take Your Shot Rumble last month as well. And now he's the number one contender. He gets this rematch against the man well in PPW, Bro Keller.
Yeah, that's a contest that I am personally looking forward to big time. I'll tell you what, All Energy, the name All Energy, when it comes to Bro Keller, that's not just a moniker. That's not just a gimmick. That's 100% fact. When you see Bro Keller burst through a PPW curtain, I'll tell you what, whatever building it is just ignites. And the same thing can be said for Encore. Encore has, I swear, in all of independent wrestling, I don't think there's a guy that's on a faster rise than Encore. And this is just, you're taking two personalities that explode off of the screen and into your living rooms, and you're putting them in one ring. And this is happening Saturday night. This is something you can't miss, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you cannot miss this at all. As you mentioned, Encore is one of the fastest rising stars in all of independent wrestling, if not the fastest rising star. And Bro Keller, well, there's a reason he's a champ. He is phenomenal. He is a former All-American athlete. He is crazy talented, crazy athletic, and as mentioned, he has all the energy. That's just not in front of the curtain. That's behind the curtain too. He is so electric, just so much fun just to be around, just to watch in the ring. He is a phenomenal champion, but his reign could end as soon as 1 month in against Encore.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's really tough to pick a winner in that contest. Both guys are on the rolls of their life, but you know what, Bro Keller, I'll tell you what, winning the PPW Heavyweight Championship, you could just tell by the way he acted backstage afterwards, and just like the light in his eyes afterwards. This was such a huge moment for him, and it means the whole world to him to make sure that he continues to maintain his spot on top of PPW. And I know Bro Keller, he works harder than a lot of individuals in the world of professional wrestling, a lot than most people, and maybe just the world in general. And I'll tell you what, this guy is spending every single day in the gym preparing for this contest, and he's going to come in rare form, folks. So this is a contest again. Make sure you get your tickets. We'll just leave it at that.
Everything you just said about Bro Keller, I mean, I could say the same for Encore. Have you seen some of the videos on his Instagram page or his Twitter page? This man is training like a mad dog. He is going after it in the gym. He is putting in the extra work. He looks incredible. I mean, granted, I've never seen him look bad, but he is in probably the best shape I have ever seen him in. He's looking physically ready, but a heavyweight championship match is a whole new ballgame. It's just a matter of, is he mentally ready to rise to the occasion?
And it's going to be interesting to watch for sure. You know what? I think he is. I mean, he's waited his entire life for this opportunity, and they come few and far between. And cashing in on opportunities are how you get ahead in the world of professional wrestling. So you have to believe that being ready is number one on the docket.
Absolutely. All right, now let's move on to our second match. Tony Nese, former WWE Cruiserweight Champion, going up against the Neon Ninja Facade. Now, this is a match that is a dream match for a bunch of fans in the world of wrestling. I am personally so excited to see this. This is going to be an athletic, acrobatic display, and only one man can win, and I am so torn who could win. They are both just so good at the top of their games. Tony Nese has more abs than I can even think about, more calories I eat in a day. He is so jacked. And
Tom
Facade,
Mitchell. Tom Mitchell. Listen.
Yes.
Tony Nese has more abs than there are sequins on your jackets that you wear every month.
I think he got me beat there, honestly. The man is crazy ripped. And Facade, he's not no slouch either. He is in phenomenal shape. He is super engaging. He is super exciting. The PPW Nation loves him. But is he ready for a former WWE Cruiserweight Champion? It's the $1 million question in this matchup.
Well, I'll tell you what better way to prepare for a contest like that than the contest that Facade was involved in last month at our 8th anniversary. And my goodness, if Facade can maintain that level of energy that he had last month, I mean, for goodness sake, this gentleman, he went across the rafters, scaling it by hand, and the man did a shooting star press, literally from the rafters of the Signature Training Academy. I'll tell you what, let's rephrase that question, Tom. Is Tony Nese ready for Facade?
That honestly might just be the question. When, as you just mentioned, that shooting star press, that was probably the most mind-blowing thing I've ever seen professional wrestling at any level. That was insanity. But so Tony Nese, he's been off for 90 days. He's just finally getting back in independent wrestling. Has he been keeping up physically? Does he still have millions and millions of abs, it seems like? Or is he still as athletic as he was? Or did he slouch off? Because I know Facade did not slouch off.
I'll tell you what. I mean, Tony Nese on the independents prior to his time in WWE, he was known for his level of fitness. And Tony Nese, it's not just a thing that he does, to try to be top notch and the best professional wrestler that he can be. Physical fitness to Tony Nese is kind of like a habit, a religion. This is what this guy does to tear off steam, to clear his head at night. So going through what this guy just went through with his life being uprooted with the release, I'll tell you what, I bet you Nese has been in the gym more than ever because there's a lot of stuff to get going. He's got a lot of process. It's been a long time since he's been in a PPW ring, and I'll tell you what, his history here is vast, and he can't wait to get back. You don't think he was getting ready for this?
I just posing the question. I'm just throwing it out there. I think personally he is going to come back and arguably the best shape of his life. He is now hungry and motivated more than ever because he wants to get back there. And Facade does too. So this should be a phenomenal contest.
Yeah, you know what? I'm putting you on the spot right now, Tom Mitchell.
Oh, jeez.
Who you got here? Who you got here?
Whoa, this is a tough question. You can make arguments for both men, and I wouldn't bat an eye. I'd be like, yeah, you're right. I definitely see where you're coming from. But if I had to pick one, I'd go with the Neon Ninja. Tony Nese is just too much of an unknown, like what he's been doing these past 90 days. When Facade, you see him every month, and he keeps pulling off moves like a shooting star press or walking across the ropes and hitting a drop kick to the opposite corner. He does the craziest stuff, and he's going to do whatever it takes to win. I know that for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I'll tell you what, the creative things that Facade does with the environments around him, honestly, folks, that alone is worth the price of admission to a PPW show, or honestly anywhere where you see Facade's name on the marquee, because you really don't know what you're going to see. And when moving up the ranks at PPW is on the line, especially with the competition that's been here in recent months, the Facade, you like I said, you just don't know what you're gonna see. So make sure you're at the Signature Training Academy. Make sure you get your tickets right away. And if you can't get your tickets, make sure you order this on Fight when it goes live. It's gonna be nuts.
Oh, it will be insanity. All right, moving on to our next contest. We have a couple of former WWE stars teaming up, and Alpha Jr., known as Manu in WWE, and Mercedes Martinez teaming up against former PPW champions Mike Orlando and Christina Marie. Now, I mentioned that Orlando and Christina are former PPW champions, but so are Alpha and Mercedes. In fact, Alpha is a television championship away from being the first Grand Slam champion in PPW history. And Mercedes Martinez, well, we saw her last month, and she looked incredible. She has not missed a step at all. She might even be better than she was in WWE, honestly.
Yeah, and you can just see the happiness on her face, given everything that's happened, coming back to PPW and getting that reaction that she got. One thing that struck me, and that made me just smile sitting back in the production seat, was seeing during Mercedes Martinez's entrance, the first thing she saw when she burst through that curtain, literally within a second, is a Mercedes Martinez is the best sign. And the look on her face when she grabbed that sign from the fan, and the smile when she pointed at it, you could just tell all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I'm home. And, somebody that's got that kind of feeling about a promotion, somebody that's got that kind of passion, you never know what they're going to be able to produce in the ring, and it's going to be an interesting scenario for sure. But I want to touch on the Samoan Storm, Alpha Jr. And you said that he's one win away from being a Grand Slam winner in PPW. I'll tell you what, in recent memory, I'm very new here to the PPW nation, but I'll tell you what, nobody bleeds PPW or represents PPW in recent memory quite the way that the Samoan Storm Alpha Jr. does. He's been on an absolute tear, and I don't know that anybody can stop him at this point. He's the X factor in this contest. Mike Orlando's got his hands full.
Oh, absolutely. But Mike Orlando is not no slouch either. He is a multi-time former PPW champion, coming back from injury, but he has looked incredible here as of late. There was questions about whether he could still go, but he definitely silenced those critics with performances. Actually, 2 months ago when he teamed up with Alpha in the Dark Order, and last month going toe-to-toe with Impact star Moose, Orlando can definitely go. Now the question is, can Christina Marie keep up with Mercedes Martinez? These two had arguably the feud of the year in PPW in 2019, and this feud gets reignited. Started last month, and now this month, Christina was not victorious against Mercedes Martinez in a triple threat match, also featuring Rachel Ellerig, but she is hungry, she is determined, she is angry, and one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life is an angry Christina Marie.
Yeah, Christina Marie, you know what? I'm not going to swear on the air, but bad A is 100% the term that you should use when you're describing one courageous Christina Marie. This girl's been on a tear. She just recently did some cage fighting. I'll tell you what, top of the game is an understatement when it comes to speaking of courageous Christina Marie right now. She may have lost her PPW Women's Championship, but that is not indicative of the level of performance we're getting out of the courageous one right now. So, you know what? I think she can keep up with Mercedes Martinez. And there's an X factor, too, that you have to think of when it comes to that pairing. Mercedes Martinez has been in WWE and focused for a little bit of time here. In that time, Christina Marie's grown quite a bit on the independents, and when you're in that WWE bubble, when you're exposed to just, you have to do what you have to do to get better every day on that level, I'll tell you what, it's got to be extremely hard as a professional to keep up with people you used to deal with on the independents, because you have so much on your plate that's right in front of your face.
Absolutely. And if we go back to Christina Marie and the PPW Women's Championship, she did not get pinned to lose her championship. Let me just point that out. She is absolutely on the top of her game. Like I said, now she's angry. I would not want to be across the ring from her if I'm Mercedes Martinez.
I'll tell you what, the only person that points out the fact that she was not pinned to lose her championship more than you at this point is Christina Marie herself, and that is a very valid point. And that PPW Championship rematch is something that's got to be coming in the very near future. I think she's going to want to be speaking to Fast Freddie Akers sometime real soon to make that happen.
Yeah, Fast Freddie better be making these moves fast before Christina Marie comes knocking on her door.
I mean, you see these photographs of Christina flexing lately. Fast Freddie, you heard the man. Tom Mitchell's got the idea right. Make the match. Save yourself. Let's just put it that way.
Honestly. All right, so now moving on to our next match. We have a triple threat match. AEW superstar Matt Sydal versus Mr. James versus the sight to see Action Andretti. Now, this has match of the night, show stealer, whatever you want to call it, written all over it. Mr. James is a former multi-time PPW heavyweight champion. Matt Sydal, obviously the top of his game in AEW. And Action Andretti, sort of the wild card in this match, but he has been tearing it up on the independent scene as of late. He is phenomenal. If you fans are not familiar with Action Andretti, well, he's a sight to see for a reason. He will blow your mind.
Yeah, that's another one of those monikers that isn't BS. That's 100% the facts, the truth. But Action Andretti's been on an absolute tear, no doubt about it. Matt Sydal, I mean, the man is a legend. The man's been everywhere, has done everything, been to every major organization, and has made an impact in every major organization. This is a huge opportunity for Action Andretti and Mr. James, who, on a side note, I'm proud to announce in the comments somewhere on Facebook, did reveal that I, to him, am a good noodle, and that's really important to me.
I'll do you one better. I got told I was a good noodle on TV, and Mr. James, former two-time PPW heavyweight champion, making good noodles out of everyone. Now, do you think that Matt Sydal or Action Andretti will get a gold star? That's the real question here.
I mean, chances are no, because Action Andretti and Matt Sydal are going to be there to win the match, and I'll tell you what, the quickest way to not be a good noodle is to literally hit your teacher. so chances are Mr. James is going to take a few shots, and maybe he'll try to send Sydal and Andretti to the principal's office.
Actually, the principal's office.
Who is the principal of PPW? Is that Paul Bowe? Shout out to Paul Bowe. Principal Paul
Bowe. Gotta get the point if you're doing Paul Bowe.
He's probably out calling football somewhere around the 20-yard line doing that point. We love you, Paul Bowe. Next month, you better be here with us.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
So back to this contest, though.
I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Oh, no.
Who do you have winning this one? You threw me on the spot in the first match. Or second match, excuse me. But
I'm gonna make a bold prediction, a really bold prediction. I'm taking Action Andretti in this contest. What he's done in recent months matches up with a lot of people who get a lot more discussion, who get talked about a lot more on the independents. I think tonight's the night where Action Andretti, I don't want to say shocks the world because that would be an insult to the man. He's too talented for me to say something like that. But I think that this is a night where Action Andretti sets himself out and shows, hey man, I'm here. Get this discussion on me because that's where it belongs.
it's a bold pick, but I absolutely love the pick. Let's see if it comes true. All right, we're gonna move on to our next contest now. We got Fandango teaming up with the main event, taking on Richard Holiday, MLW star, Firework Fox Vineyard, and Joey Martinez with Mr. Ruda in their corner. Now, Fandango is also one of those guys who has just recently returned to independent wrestling, and the main event are former PPW tag team champions who have yet to get their rematch, as they've been very vocal about on social media. So this should be an interesting pairing. Let's see if the main event is focused on the task at hand, or if they're just looking at their tag team championship rematch, which seems to be inevitable at this point.
You know what? You have to be focused on the task at hand. It goes back to that point that I've made earlier in the show, and a point that I'm sure you'd agree with. The competition level here in PPW is at a level that it's escalating every single month. The names that are coming in here, applying their craft, trying to be the best in Northeast Pennsylvania and maybe worldwide, are incredible. So every contest, whether it's a six-man tag team match or whatever the case may be, wins count here. Wins and losses count. This is wrestling matters here in PPW. So they can't look past this, and I think they're too experienced of a team to even consider that being an option. These guys are going to be ready, Mitch.
Absolutely, especially when you look who's across the ring from them. You have Richard Holiday, MLW's superstar, the most marketable man in all of professional wrestling, who's been trying to turn the PPW Nation into consumers ever since he got here back in 2018. Fox Vineyard, he recently showed a different attitude than what we have seen from him. Usually he's happy-go-lucky, shooting the confetti everywhere, being all wild and crazy, but we saw a much darker side of him last month. And Joey Martinez, he's mad. He is just coming off of that heart-crushing finals loss to Bro Keller, where if Joey would have won, he would have been the PPW heavyweight champion. So, he is looking to take out some frustration. And we didn't even talk about the wild card, Mr. Ruda, in this whole contest. Mr. Ruda is not afraid to get his hands dirty to help Joey win. And I'm sure this will be the case once again.
Yeah, Mr. Ruda has shown in recent months that he's getting better and better at inserting that bald head into the middle of whatever contest that he's out at. And, I'll tell you what, I think Mr. Ruda and Martinez are the X factors. You saw Joey Martinez after the contest talking to CVV, and that was a look of rage. That was a look of disdain. Any negative emotion that you could possibly convey came right through on Joey Martinez's face, especially when he was asked, or when CVV said you couldn't close it. That just set Joey Martinez off, and there's a rage burning inside of him. And with the tutelage of Mr. Ruda, that's, I think, an interesting X factor to look at in the contest. It's really a pick'em. It's hard. This is a contest where the parity in PPW is going to shine through. Let's just put it that way.
Absolutely. And another factor we didn't talk about is Fox Vineyard and Joey Martinez actually fought against each other in August in the semifinals of the tournament, and Martinez had to cheat to win. Will there be animosity on that side of the ring, or will they be able to look past that and just understand that Martinez was just trying to advance like Fox was, or will they get a little physical there at ringside between the two of them?
I mean, that's an interesting thing to look at and a point to consider. The thing, though, when a guy like Fox Vineyard kind of starts to embrace the dark side a little bit and look at things in a different fashion, it kind of changes the way you look at everything, even in your past. You kind of look at things in a self-reflection sort of way. And I haven't spoken to Vineyard on this, but just thinking of how a man thinks, I'm thinking in his head he's looking back on past things with Joey Martinez and maybe people that he didn't see eye to eye with, and kind of looking at things from their point of view. And with this newfound attitude, I have to think that there might be a little bit more camaraderie between Martinez and Vineyard than maybe we're even ready for.
Right, that is a phenomenal point. No, I didn't even think about things that way, but hey, this is why you're the man, Big Sean, because you got that kind of brain. But I am very curious how these two are going to work together. And throw Richard Holiday into the mix, as I mentioned before, MLW star. He's all over the world, turning fans to consumers. But this should be phenomenal. This should be.
Tom, have you been? Are you a fan? Are you an owner of an AirPod God shirt, or do you enjoy um, purchasing your coffee at Consumer Bucks? Do you like breathing rarefied air?
I wish I could breathe rarefied air. First of all, every time I interview Richard Holiday, he just has that presence. It's something that you really can't teach. He just feels like a star. He carries himself like a star. He has his nose somewhat up in the air, just kind of like he like gives you that feeling that like, hey, I'm better than you. And like in the ring, he kind of proves it as bad as it is to say.
Yeah, and this goes into another one of those laundry list of reasons why this is one of those pick'em contests, like we've said 2 or 3 times already. There's so many factors working in so many directions. The only way to find out who's going to win this one is not in your head. It's to be in Broadheadsville at the Signature Training Academy. Get your tickets right now, ppwwrestling.com, or make sure if you can't be in attendance, you order this on Fight. It's going to come out probably shortly after the event, probably about a week or so after the event. So stay tuned, folks. Tom, we still have so much to talk about.
Yeah, we're only halfway through the card, and this has been a who's who of wrestlers, both on the independent scene and who's been on TV multiple times. So, speaking of that, we're going to move on to our next match, the PPW Women's Championship match between JC Storm and Adina Steele. But the special guest referee will be 5-time Impact Knockouts Women's Champion, Madison Rayne. Sean, the first question I have, because Storm and Adina have fought before, and Adina just seems to have Storm's number. What factor will Madison Rayne play in this contest, if any?
Well, yeah, I think Madison Rayne's going to play an interesting factor in this contest. She's going to keep things together because there's, this contest alone is something worth watching. There's heat. There's definitely hatred behind this contest. These two women do not like each other. That's a fact. But there's outside factors that I feel are kind of weighing on this contest just from the outside looking in. You've got that courageous Christina Marie situation. She wants her championship rematch. There's craziness there. You saw there's so many things that could happen in so many different situations. I think the presence of Madison Rayne is going to prevent these things from getting in the way of what should be an excellent women's championship match this Saturday night. I'll tell you what, JC Storm, that's somebody that's also on a meteoric rise in the world of independent wrestling, and she sees this as a big opportunity, and she sees this as maybe the biggest opportunity of her career. She told me this. And when you have that coming into a contest, especially when someone like Adina Steele had your number in the past, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a fight, and it's got that big fight feel written all over it.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned before, Adina Steele and JC Storm, you said it too, they do not like each other. There is actual tension that goes beyond the ring between these two. They're not seen together backstage. They do not hang out. None of that. They do not like each other. I cannot stress that enough.
I think if they saw each other in catering, they may hit each other with food.
Yeah, I think it'll start a food fight. Absolutely.
No one's safe when those two are around each other.
Not at all. I am in this contest. JC Storm, I know she is desperate. I know she will do anything it takes to beat Adina Steele because of that hatred. And plus, Storm feels like she's the best just without holding the gold. Will Storm be able to win the gold though? Because she's come up short a couple of times. This might be her last opportunity.
Yeah, and that just goes back to the PPW parity thing we've talked about numerous times tonight. It really might be her last opportunity. There's many more talents in line. Names like Erica Lee. There's lots of different people that have been in and out of PPW. Mercedes Martinez is going to be back on a regular basis. So you're right. It really might be her last opportunity, especially with what's sitting down the turnpike. I'll tell you what, she's got to come through. She's got to come through big, and she knows that.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to our next contest. We have the PPW Television Championship up for grabs. Champion Andy Header will defend against superstar V Marino. He told me I had to pronounce it right. So, V, if you're listening, I said it right. Superstar V Marino.
Superstar V Marino. Let me tell you something. Yeah. Quite possibly, one of the greasiest individuals I've come across in recent memory. But I'll tell you what, I enjoy every minute of it. And if this dude was selling me a car, I'd probably buy it.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter the car. It could be an absolute beater that can barely go 5 miles, but he just has a look to him. He's another one of those guys who just has that presence where superstar for him is it's not a nickname. He lives his life as a superstar. Like his gear, like it looks straight out of the 80s. They're in like the NWA.
I dig it.
You see him wearing suits in interviews. Like he outdresses me sometimes. I'm not afraid to admit it. He looks the part, but he needs some gold, and this is the biggest opportunity of his young career to earn some gold.
Yeah, that WYLN TV championship is a coveted championship. Lots of prestigious individuals have held that over the years in PPW. And you're right, V Marino looks the part. V Marino reminds me of just like an old school throwback. And I dig that. There needs to be more of that in the world of professional wrestling. And V Marino is hell bent on showing everybody in the PPW nation that he means business. I'll tell you what, Andy Hedder's been on a roll. That's something that you can't debate at all. But he's got to watch out for V Marino. This could be a dark horse match, and this could be, I don't want to call it an upset because he's a very talented individual, but let's call it an upset. I could see V Marino unseating Andy Hedder here. It's very strange. He's got to be real careful.
It would absolutely be an upset. Andy Hedder, I believe, has been wrestling for about 15 years now, has held about 15 or so championships throughout independent wrestling. He is a veteran. I hate to use the term gatekeeper, but he really is the gatekeeper of PPW. He takes on everyone. Like if you're somebody coming through the ranks, you gotta go through Andy Hedder, and he's finally proven now he's in the top shape of his career, physically and mentally, why he is a champion in PPW. He is a fantastic talent, and V better be ready. You can talk all the talk you want, but eventually you gotta walk the walk. Let's see if you can do it.
Yeah, that's a contest to mark down on something that you need to see. And again, tickets are still available. Front rows are gone. Seconds are extremely limited. Generals are as well. Bleacher seating still available, as Tom said earlier. Head over to ppwwrestling.com right away. Make sure you secure your seat, because I'll tell you what, the Signature Training Academy is going to be rocking this Saturday night. No doubt about it. And again, if you can't be there live, another thing to do is head over to Fight TV, and probably about a week or so after the show, it's going to be posted. But if you can't wait, I don't know, I can't believe we didn't mention this already on the show, but you can go to Fight TV right now and relive our 8th anniversary. The show's available in its entirety on Fight TV at your fingertips right now. Make sure you go order it, because that night was nuts, and this night might be even more nuts.
Absolutely. This card has 5 championship matches on it. It has a who's who of superstars, as we mentioned, and the Signature Training Academy is going to be rocking. Thanks to the PPW Nation, first of all. So thank you guys for always coming out and supporting. You don't want to miss this. You got to be a part of this atmosphere. It is like unlike anything in independent wrestling right now.
No, I'll tell you what, previous years, PPW has been about growth and trying to get to that next step. But 2021 is the year, and we're calling this the year of the PPW Nation. This is for you. Every show of 2021 is for you. We missed you guys so much during 2020, and we're so happy to be back. And I'll tell you what, the atmosphere you give us at the Signature Training Academy, I'll tell you what, it's worth every bit of it. Thank you so much for coming out. We hope to see each and every one of you Saturday night.
Absolutely, Sean. I could not have said that any better than myself, man. All right, we are going to move on now to our next contest. We have the PPW No Limits Championship up for grabs in a fatal 4-way. Rembrandt, with Cosmic and Seat in the center in his corner, will go up against Elijah Eden, Timothy Theory, and the picture-perfect assassin, Chris Slade. This is going to be incredible, first of all.
Yeah, that's an interesting contest. And, I want to send out a congratulations to Timothy Theory. This kid has been grinding every day at the Signature Training Academy, PPW's home. And this is his first championship opportunity in PPW. He's got people coming in from across the country, lots of support rallying behind young Timothy Theory. This is a huge night, and I'm excited to see how that energy translates to Theory's performance in the ring. But he's got a huge, huge, huge task ahead of him. There is some really great talent in this contest, including the champion Rembrandt, who has worked so hard to get to this point, especially with that craziness last month with Isaac Rule.
Absolutely. Yeah. Rembrandt and Isaac Rule have been going at each other now for, I'd say, about a year and a half, 2 years. It was really starting to pick up, and then pandemic happened, and Rembrandt just sat at home, angry and bitter, swearing that the No Limits Championship was his, and he just had a year and a half just to stew, just to think about it, and well, his vision became reality in August when he defeated Isaac in that tables match.
Yeah,
But
and
now,
he's the No Limits champion. I'll tell you what, he wants to hold on to it. He didn't have to defend last month with his opportunity in the Take Your Shot Rumble. But I'll tell you what, that time of rest is up. Time is now. Championship matches galore this Saturday night. Rembrandt's got a target right across his forehead right now. The Picture Perfect Assassin's coming for him. Everyone is coming for him in that contest. Elijah Eden just scares me. I mean, that's a whole nother episode of maybe PPW Unplugged, the creepiness of Elijah Eden. But that's the X factor in the contest, I think. The creepiness of Elijah Eden. My goodness, I wouldn't even want to be in there.
yeah, whenever I try interviewing him, I can't lie. I shake my dress shoes. I would freak out. He is just so ominous, so weird, but he could be championship material after Saturday.
Well, I'll tell you what, a big part of being successful in the world of professional wrestling is to be able to play that mental game, to be able to get into your opponent's head. And what better way to be directly smack dab in the middle of your opponent's head than be the creepiest dude in the room? And Elijah Eden gets that done every single day.
Oh, absolutely. But someone we need to talk about a little bit more is Chris Slade, I feel like. Chris Slade actually outlasted Rembrandt in the Take Your Shot Rumble. I feel like he is an underdog who should not be an underdog in this contest. He is in phenomenal shape. He has some of the best striking in all of independent wrestling today. He can move with whoever. He can do whatever. He could be the next champion.
Yeah, and we sound like broken records when we say these things, but this is another one of those contests where the parity in PPW is going to shine through because it's impossible to pick a winner. But impossible is only a word, and it's not the truth. Tom Mitchell, pick a winner.
Oh, pulling me on a spot. This is another one. Like, as you mentioned, you could pick any four of these guys, and there's a realistic reason why you could choose them as champion. As you mentioned, Timothy Theory has been grinding his butt off. He worked so hard for this opportunity, and he finally gets it. He's not going to let it go to waste. Chris Slade, as I mentioned, he is the wild card who shouldn't be a wild card. Elijah Eden can play a mental game, but my choice is Rembrandt. There's a reason he's champion. He fought so long to earn that title, and now he's going to refuse to let it go. And I think Cosmic and Seaton are going to play a huge role in that.
Absolutely, Cosmic. Cosmic is always someone to be watched on the outside, and you need an extra eye in the back of your head. Because Cosmic may have a third eye. I tell you what, she's very effective in what she provides to Rembrandt, and really a major part of the recipe that has led to Rembrandt's success in PPW. So you know what, I'm going to agree with you on that one, Tom Mitchell. I'm taking Rembrandt to retain and remain our No Limits champion. But you got to be there to find out. I mean, we could be brutally wrong. There's no way to tell.
Absolutely no way to tell. We're going to move on to our final championship match. We have two more matches. Our final championship match, South Philly's Finest, Size and Strength in Numbers, also known as SINs, and the champions, the Sambo Show meet in the Triple Threat Tag Team match. Now, this is another pick-em, really. South Philly's Finest is the most decorated team in PPW history, undebatably so. 6-time champions. They have been here since the beginning. Sins has two of the most muscular, beefiest, scariest men in all of PPW, and Isaac Rule, the former PPW No Limits champion, and Mad Dog. And the Sambo Show, well, Sam Adams was a former PPW heavyweight champion, Sally Andrews, former television champion, and together they are the tag team champions on the top of their game, recently appearing on AEW. Sean, give me your thoughts on this.
You know what? The only thing that's on my mind since you said SPF earlier has been Gabagool, and yeah, I can't believe you didn't mention the Gabagool. Why are you not talking about the guy? Jimmy Conway is going to have his way with you in the interview station, and I'm not going to send anybody to save you if you don't talk about the Gabagool.
Well, last time I got Gabagool shoved down my mouth, so I kind of have bad thoughts whenever I think about Gabagool, but that's beside the point. You know,
Hey,
they
hey,
are
hey,
super talented attending
Tom,
groups.
don't tell anybody. It's Preshow. Oh no, Jimmy Conway's gonna
Oh
beat me up
no.
now. See, I see because I love you, Tom. I just took the heat off you for Saturday.
Well,
See,
you
it's
better
funny
hope
how
that
that
Jimmy
happens,
Conway,
isn't it?
you better hope that Jimmy and Luca don't see you, or else they might be getting some prosciutto shoved down your throat. And
I'll tell you
it
what.
tastes good, but it doesn't taste good when it's getting shoved down.
No, not at all. But this is going to be a contest. This is a main event caliber contest, honestly, and it's just one of many main event caliber contests that you're going to see Saturday night at the Signature Trading Academy. But this one's interesting. Sambo Show, they were supposed to defend their championships last month, but unfortunately that match wasn't able to take place. And these guys have been eager to get back in front of the PPW Nation since their AEW appearance. They're very proud to represent PPW in AEW, and they haven't had a chance to ply their craft in front of the PPW Nation since. So it's gonna be a special night for Sambo. So and that sort of energy, that sort of feeling in your heart that you get from bursting through that curtain and into the welcoming arms of the PPW Nation, that's enough to carry folks quite a distance. And Sambo, I'll tell you what, they're a team that feeds off of the energy of the nation, and they're going to get it Saturday night. So it's going to be interesting to say the least.
You couldn't have said it any better. The Sambo Show are some of the most beloved figures in all of PPW. Fans cannot get enough of them when they step through the curtain. Well, I shouldn't even say step. They explode through that curtain, just a ball of energy. But I'm going to go back to Sins real quick. Size and strength and numbers. Joe Davis is their manager. We didn't even bring up Joe, and Joe is one of the sleaziest, craftiest. But I say all that, also one of the most successful. He got his guys in a match with the Dark Order, with Mike Orlando, with Alpha Jr., Isaac Rule's a former No Limits champion. Mad Dog has been super impressive, especially in the Rumble match. It's going to be really, they're the underdogs, but they are so big they should not be.
Yeah, they're the underdogs, but the only reason they're the underdogs is because the PPW Nation hasn't had a lot of experience with them yet. Now, let me tell you, you made a good point about Joe Davis being greasy. He's one of the greasiest in management in all of professional wrestling. There's no doubt about it. But you can't argue with the man's success, not just in PPW, all over the place. Joe Davis is associated with winning, and you can't take away any ounce of credit from Joe Davis for the position he's got his men in PPW, like you pointed out, and the fact that he's found a way to insert himself into even the commentary booth in PPW land. That's another way that he continues to spread the folklore when it comes to his organization. So Joe Davis has got these guys in a spot. And when it comes to the athletes, I'll tell you what, Mad Dog, I think, is somebody to watch for sure. Mad Dog wrestles out of my area, Western New York. I'm a Niagara Falls native. He's a Buffalo native. Grapplers Anonymous, pro wrestling training out of Buffalo, New York, has been making literal beasts when it comes to talent. That's the home organization for Red Death, Daniel Garcia, Kevin Blackwood, who's on the independents from 2020 prior to the pandemic and into now. Mad Dog falls into that category, and he's here in PPW, and there's a lot of bite behind the bark. Let's just say that.
You hit the nail on the head once again, Sean. Sean, you're pretty good at this. I can't lie. You are very well spoken. But I think it's time we talk about our last match.
I'm ready, man.
And this is certainly not least. Casey Navarro, Davey Richards, Part 2. Part 1, back at the return in June, was arguably the match of the year. I think you could say that, and no one would bat an eye. It was incredible. It was hard-hitting. It was fast-paced. It had it all. Jeff Carden was bleeding the referee. And now, well, we saw in August, Davey Richards sat at ringside for Casey's match against JT Dunn, and Casey took exception to that. Challenged Richards, and here we are this Saturday night.
Yeah, and these two are both MLW superstars, so they're kind of building this budding rivalry before they take it to MLW, and you're getting to see this in a place like PPW before you can see it anywhere else. And you know that scene last month, that showdown in the center of the ring, the response to Davey sitting on commentary, you could tell it really irked Casey Navarro. Casey Navarro has been, kind of one of the integral pillars of the growth of PPW. He's been a big part of this organization's success, and he kind of feels he hasn't said this, but if I'm analyzing what's going on inside of Casey Navarro's head, he kind of feels like that Davey Richards is probably coming into his territory, trying to outshine him and trying to take some of that spotlight away from him. And what better way to do that? Honestly, ask yourself, Tom, what better way to do that than to come out, announce yourself, make yourself known, and sit on commentary during the contest with this guy? Casey probably felt like he was slighted big time.
I see where Casey's coming from, but you also got to look at it from Davey's perspective. Davey is just trying to look out for Casey. Davey was once that young kid tearing up the independent scene, just getting signed places, and he's been down the path. He wants to make sure Casey's doing the right things. But Casey, 22 years old, phenomenal athlete. He probably took exception to that. I'm sure he did take exception, and that's why we have this match on Saturday night.
Yeah, and the first go around, like you said, was easily match of the year territory. This was buzzed about on the dirt sheets before we had a chance to edit it and release it and get it out to the public. And I'll tell you what, we put out a bunch of videos over the past year, and this one by far, leaps and bounds, was our most successful on all platforms. So this is a match that people want to see, and this is a match that you can right now only see at PPW this Saturday night at Dirty Dancing. And let's remind you one more time, front row tickets are completely sold out, so you cannot get that experience, but there are still some second rows available, very limited general admission and bleacher seats as well, maybe some at the door. But the only way to ensure that you are going to be able to be there this Saturday night when the madness goes down at the Signature Training Academy is to go over to ppwwrestling.com right now, obtain your ticket, secure your spot, be there. The PPW Nation is going to be rocking. It's going to be nuts. What more do you need? I can tell you what, to quote Marv Levy, to bring a little bit of Buffalo into this show, where else would you rather be?
Nowhere. There is absolutely nowhere I'd rather be than at the Signature Training Academy this Saturday night. Well, yeah. Sean, those are all the matches. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right.
What match will be match of the night? And who will win that match?
I'm like I said, all surprises. I think the triple threat between Action Andretti, Matt Seidel, and Mr. James is going to be the dark horse match that steals the show. And Action Andretti's taking that one. Like I said, this is the night where Action Andretti pushes himself right to the forefront of everybody's talk, everybody's conversation in the world of independent wrestling. You can put a stamp on that one.
I love that prediction. Guys, if you're following along, let us know who you think will be the match of the night and who you think will win that match. In fact, let us know who will win all these matches. We are curious to hear what you guys say.
I got to say, the PPW Nation filled the comments. We're going to go back after the show, look at it, and acknowledge all of those. We had so much to talk about tonight. We would have been here for 7 hours, so we had to get through it. We love you guys. We're going to take a look at these comments, and like Tom said, get in those comments furthermore and give us your predictions, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next month. Let's see who is right. It's going to be tough.
Absolutely.
I don't know who's going to be right.
Oh, there's no telling. As you said, a bunch of these matches are really just pick-ems. Like, you flip a coin and say this guy wins, and no one's got a bad eye. Like, nope. Bro versus Encore. I could say Encore will win because he's a little more experienced. He knows what he did wrong 2 months ago, but Bro also has been before. Does he have his number? Off on Mercedes. Like, there's just so many great matches. So many
stories galore.
Matches.
Stories galore to process through your brain. You could be up all night. And maybe you should to get ready for the show and maybe to prep yourself for that thinking session. Before you do that, go to Fight TV and buy the 8th anniversary and check out that awesome night. Get yourself ready. And then go to YouTube. Check out old episodes of High Voltage. Just get ready. Saturday night's going to be nuts. As Paul Bull would say, to send us home for the night. I'll tell you what. Sweet Mary, Mother of Joseph, Dirty Dancing is going to be amazing. So with that being said, no doubt about it, for Tom Mitchell and PPW, I'm Big Sean Kramars. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you Saturday night at Dirty Dancing. Have a good night. Take care of yourself and each other.